Welcome back to Random Cardinal of the Week. I'm Jim Plaza. Before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe to Redbird Rundown on Spotify and YouTube, and follow Redbird Rundown on all social media platforms to get the latest analysis of the St. Louis Cardinals. Also, check out our Patreon page, which will give you access to bonus content, game day chats, and exclusive bonus episodes. When you watch highlight films of the St. Louis Cardinals celebrating division titles, playoff victories, pennants, and World Series championships since 1982, there's usually a familiar scene at the end. The final out. A swing and miss, a ground ball to second, a fly ball drifting into a glove, and a closer on the mound with his arms raised, waiting to be mobbed by his teammates. Over the years, Cardinals fans have seen some legendary names record those final outs. In 1982, it was Bruce Suter. In 85 and 87, Todd Worrell. In 1996, Dennis Eckersley. In 2004 and 2005, Jason Isringhausen. In 06, it was Adam Wainwright striking out Carlos Beltran and Brandon Inge. And in 2011, it was Jason Motte closing out Game 7 of the World Series. Even in seasons that didn't end with a trophy, the Cardinals have often had stability at the back end of their bullpen. Closers like Lee Smith, Ryan Franklin, Trevor Rosenthal, and Carlos Martinez have all had their time finishing games in St. Louis. But in 2013, another name stepped into that role. A pitcher who unexpectedly became the man trusted with the ninth inning during a season full of promise, but also real uncertainty. He would finish his career with 50 saves in total, but 37 of them came in one remarkable season. Despite only spending 2 years in St. Louis, he etched his name into Cardinals history and helped bridge the gap between two eras of closers. This week's Random Cardinal of the Week is Yadier Molina. The 2013 Cardinals entered the season with high expectations. Just 2 years earlier, they had won the World Series in dramatic fashion in 2011. In 2012, they returned to the postseason as a wildcard team and came within a single game of returning to the Fall Classic. And of course, it was that Game 7 loss to the Giants that still stings. And yes, it ended with a home run by none other than Travis Ishikawa. Travis Ishikawa. Ugh. Anyway, but a big reason the Cardinals were in that position in the first place was the dominance of their closer, Jason Motte. In 2012, Motte recorded 42 saves and firmly established himself as one of the best closers in baseball. Unfortunately, before the 2013 season began, Motte began experiencing elbow discomfort during spring training, and eventually the diagnosis came down. He would need Tommy John surgery. And just like that, the Cardinals lost their closer for the entire season. Manager Mike Matheny initially turned to Mitchell Boggs to fill that role. But Boggs struggled badly at the beginning of the season. In just a few weeks, his ERA was ballooned over 12, and he was eventually sent down to AAA Memphis. The Cardinals suddenly needed someone to take control of the ninth inning. And on April 18th, 2013, that responsibility fell to Yadier Molina. Edward Jose Mujica's journey to that moment had taken years. He was born in Valencia, Venezuela in 1984, and like many kids in his country, he grew up playing baseball from a very young age. At just 17 years old, he signed with the Cleveland Indians organization in October of 2001. Originally a starting pitcher in the minor leagues, Mujica spent several seasons developing before transitioning into a full-time relief role in 2005. And that move really proved to be a turning point. That season, pitching for High A Kinston, Mujica recorded 14 saves, while striking out 32 hitters and walking only 2 in 26 innings. After being promoted to Double-A Akron, he added 10 more saves, striking out 33 and walking just 5 in nearly 35 innings. The following year, in 2006, he continued dominating hitters at both Double-A and Triple-A, eventually earning his first call-up to the majors with Cleveland. He made his major league debut on June 21st, 2006. And here's a remarkable stat for you. Mujica did not allow an earned run at any level during the 2006 season until July 14th, and that streak stretched across an incredible 43 and a third innings. He finished the year going back and forth between Cleveland and AAA Buffalo and recorded a 2.95 ERA in the majors. Mujica spent parts of the next 2 seasons with Cleveland before being traded to the San Diego Padres in April of 2009. That same year, he recorded a fun little piece of baseball trivia. On April 13th, 2009, Mujica earned the first pitching win ever recorded at Citi Field, which was the brand new home of the New York Mets. A few weeks later, he recorded his first major league save against the Cubs. In 2010, November of 2010, he was traded again, this time to the Marlins. During his time in Miami, Mujica primarily worked as a setup man and made 67 appearances in 2011 and 41 more in 2012 before a broken toe, which was caused by a line drive back to the mound, cut his season short. While playing for the Marlins, Mujica also picked up one of the more unusual nicknames in baseball. Manager Jack McKeon, who was nearly 80 years old at the time, struggled to pronounce Mujica's name. So instead, he started calling him the Chief. McKeon apparently believed that Mujica was Native American and referred to him as the last of the Mohicans. It wasn't exactly accurate, but the nickname stuck. Meanwhile, in St. Louis in 2012, the Cardinals found themselves in an unusual position by late July. They were 55-48 and sitting in third place in the division, 7 games behind the Cincinnati Reds. Jason Motte had the 9th inning under control, but the 7th and 8th innings were beginning to become a growing problem for manager Mike Matheny, and something very clearly needed to change. At the trade deadline on July 31st, 2012, the Cardinals finally made a move. They acquired Yadier Molina from the Marlins in exchange for former first-round pick and once highly regarded prospect Zach Cox. Cardinals GM John Mozeliak personally called Mujica to welcome him to the organization and even greeted him by his nickname, the Chief. Mujica made his Cardinals debut the very next day at Coors Field in Colorado, pitching a scoreless 7th inning and earning a hold in a 9-6 Cardinals victory. From that point forward, the bullpen roles became clear. Mujica would handle the 7th, Mitchell Boggs would pitch the 8th, and Jason Motte would close the 9th. Another important adjustment came from catcher Yadier Molina, who suggested that Mujica throw his splitter more frequently instead of relying as heavily on his slider. And the results were immediate. Mujica didn't allow an earned run until September 11th, which was his 19th appearance with the Cardinals. After the trade, he posted a sparkling 1.03 ERA with 21 strikeouts and only 4 walks in 26 and a third innings. The Cardinals surged late that season and reached the playoffs. And in the postseason, Mujica appeared in 9 games, allowing just 1 run in 7 2/3 innings. He even picked up the win in Game 1 of the NLCS. Unfortunately, that series still ended in heartbreak. Yes, again, because of Travis Ishikawa. I really, really struggle with Travis Ishikawa. Again, anyways, let's go back now to April 18th, 2013. The Cardinals were in Philadelphia, leading the Phillies 4-3. There were runners on first and second with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Matheny turned to Edward Mujica to face Lance Nix. 3 pitches later, Mujica struck him out swinging. Inning over. After allowing 2 singles to begin the 9th inning, Mujica calmly retired Kevin Franzen, Jimmy Rollins, and Freddie Galvis to secure his first save as a Cardinal. And from there, he took off. Mujica converted his first 21 save opportunities and carried a 2.2 ERA into July. On July 14th, he was named to the National League All-Star team, replacing teammate Adam Wainwright. At the time, Mujica had recorded 26 saves in 28 chances with an ERA in the low 2s. Even though he didn't pitch in the All-Star game, he continued his dominance after the break, converting 9 more saves through August. But eventually, the heavy workload caught up to him. In 2013 alone, Mujica pitched on 3 consecutive days 6 times. And by November, injuries and fatigue began taking their toll. A strained shoulder, numbness in his neck, and a groin strain all contributed to a rough stretch. During the final month of that season, he converted just 2 of 4 save opportunities. And eventually, Mike Matheny turned to a hard-throwing young reliever named Trevor Rosenthal to take over the closer role. The Cardinals still made it back to the World Series in 2013. but they ultimately lost in 6 games to the Boston Red Sox, and Mujica did not appear in that series. Still, his season was remarkable. He finished 2013 with a 2-1 record, 37 saves and 41 opportunities, which was good for 11th in all of Major League Baseball, a 2.78 ERA, and only 6 walks in nearly 65 innings. After the season, Mujica signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox. He recorded 8 more saves in 2014 before being traded to the Oakland A's in 2015. He spent the next couple of seasons moving through several organizations before making a brief 5-game appearance with the Detroit Tigers in 2017. In 2018, Mujica returned to the Cardinals organization on a minor league deal, saving 13 games for AAA Memphis before quietly ending his career with the organization that had given him his most magical season. Over the next 2 years, Trevor Rosenthal would become the next great Cardinals closer, recording back-to-back 40-save seasons. And because of that, many Cardinals fans slowly forgot about Edward Mujica and his incredible 2013 run. But they shouldn't, because Mujica played an important role in Cardinals history. He bridged the gap between closers, helping guide the franchise to its 19th National League pennant. In fact, only 10 Cardinals pitchers in franchise history have recorded more than 30 saves in a single season, and only 7 have recorded more saves in a season than Mujica's 37. Names like Rosenthal, Lee Smith, Bruce Suter, Jason Isringhausen, Jason Motte, Ryan Franklin, and Ryan Helsley. Not bad company at all. Throughout his career, Mujica was known for his sense of humor and relaxed personality. In one memorable moment, he even fell asleep in the bullpen during a game at Wrigley Field, and it was captured on camera. When asked about his demeanor later, Mujica simply said, quote, "I just try to enjoy my time because this job only lasts 10 to 15 years, and you have to enjoy the moment." And for one unforgettable season in St. Louis, Edward Mujica did exactly that. And so did Cardinals fans. 37 times. Thank you again for listening to Random Cardinal of the Week. Remember to like and subscribe to Redbird Rundown on Spotify and YouTube. Follow Redbird Rundown on all social media platforms, and check out our Patreon page for access to bonus content and coverage of the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll be back again soon with another forgotten name from Cardinals history. Until then, I'm Jim Plaza, and this has been Random Cardinal of the Week.